Guys, back for our number 3 Vedic numerology secrets on the number 3. Sorry for the noise. I am kind of by a main road. Not really. I don't know why there's so many cars going by today. But I'd like to provide some knowledge on this wonderful 7-day overall about the number 3. Now, a lot of people think the number 3, well, not a lot of people, or I guess a lot of people, but mainly the Western numerology, Pythagorean numerology way of thinking, may think that number 3 is actually tied to Mercury. From a Vedic perspective, number 3 is based on Jupiter, the guru, and I can see why some people may think that number 3 is Mercury, because 3, those with a life path 3, those with the base number 3, or the day that they're born on equaling 3, such as 3, 12, 21, 30. These people are very, very communicative. They like to talk. So you'll meet a life path 3 or a base 3, and they'll just be talking and talking and talking. While they can also be very good listeners, they will hear what you have to say. They just love to talk. They want to share their opinion as well. And this is because the Jupiter expands everything it touches. But also Jupiter is a teacher, a counselor, a coach. So naturally they have to be gifted at communication in order to fully express themselves and what they want to teach, right? Whereas the mercurial communication is very youthful in nature. It's very kind of sporadic, all over the place. It's restless. It's talk to as many people at once, but maybe one at a time, or more for marketing purposes, or about business, or about fun things. Jupiter likes to talk about things that they can teach. Jupiter likes to share knowledge. Jupiter loves all things, esoteric. So does Mercury, really. Because Mercury was, the one of the caduceus, the healer. But there's just a slight difference there. Anyways, like I said, those with a life path 3, those with a base number 3, are going to be very, very inclined towards helping others. Or rather, it depends. There is the shadow aspect and then there is the light aspect of every single number. So the karmic lesson for number 3 is to not be lost in the ego. The 3 can have a big ego, and they can get lost in their own selfish ways in using their abilities to only help themselves. So they must learn, as their karmic lesson, to fully be able to help others, right? Reach out to others, work with others. That's why they've been given this creative, communicative teaching talent, so that they can share it with others. They are very likely to, have an outreach, kind of like the life path 33. Life path 33 will gain a lot of influence over people, even though they're actually 6 total, but it's like the exaltation of the 3, right? The 2 3s. And kind of like Mercury as well. Mercury will have a greater outreach, so it's good for them to have Mercury in their chart as well, as it will help. But they can be very, very ethical, have strong set belief systems. But like I said, if the shadow aspect gets in the way, they may not necessarily be open to other opinions, especially with Venus conjuncting it. And then if they have a destabilization of it, they can actually end up being completely the opposite and being very flexible and adaptable. Whereas the 3 says, this is how it's done, this is how we must do it, very traditional, like the guru, right? Like the teacher, the old teacher, who wants to keep things done a certain way. It's really windy out here. So very, very much family-based, family-orientated as well. A 3 can be. Like I said, the Jupiter expands, so they're likely to have a bigger family. They may like to live with relatives, they may like to live with their family, or they may just have lots of kids. But if there is a moon conjunction, that actually takes away the kids, and may have troubles gaining pleasure from kids, as in, you know, being happy by having kids or by not having kids. So they won't have kids, they won't have the pleasure of having kids, right? Yeah. Very interesting number 3. Like I said, these people are more likely to be in the field of helping others through their wisdom, right? They'll be respected for their wisdom. People will look to them for advice, if as a life path 3. As a base 3, they are always going to be giving advice, even though it's probably not asked for it. Or even not necessarily as a base 3, but if it's in their chart, right? And it's not their overall life path, overall governing energy for their life. But they more than likely have the ability to be some sort of consultant, teacher, or coach, in which they can easily reach out and help people with their wisdom. You know, working in human resources, that's another example. Yes. Trying to think anything related health-wise that was for the 3. Their biggest lesson, like I said, is the karmic lesson, which is letting go of the ego. The 3 can very much identify themselves with things and get stuck in the realm of, okay, this is my belief system, this is what I identify with, I'm not changing that, right? It can be difficult for them to change belief systems because they get so tied down into certain things, especially with things having to do with their identity, right? They really like to hang on to that. They like to identify themselves and say, this is me, this is what I am, who I am. And their karmic lesson is to let go of the ego and focus on others, focus on rather how can I help myself, but more so on how I can help others, what I can learn and what I can give back to this community. But yeah, I would say those are the basics of the number 3. Number 3 is Jupiter, the guru. 3 will expand and can expand all areas of your life. So it can be used also in things such as house numbers. You know, for example, if you live in a house number 102, 1 plus 2 is 3. More than likely, you can expect the relatives to be joining you, more family members, right? More people in that house to be living. And even lots of teaching to be done, right? The 3 can represent a good relation with the mother, but it's more so the family, right? The 3 people with, that's another point, that this life path or this base number are very, very much family orientated. They love their family and they love showing off their family and their spirituality, especially if there are multiple 3s. But they love their family, they want to be around their family. They love having family around them. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys for number 3. Stay tuned for the rest of the numbers, hopefully coming soon. I haven't been getting around to much of them, but do subscribe. They will be coming out. I will be providing more and more details because I love numerology, I love astrology. This is the stuff that I was meant to do, you know? So the more I learn, the more you guys learn. So subscribe and take care.